If you've picked up an Xbox Series X or S console, then the chances are you want to jump in and enjoy the experience with your friends. But what are the best games to play either locally or with your friends online? I'm James Zamera, and along with Juan, we've got you covered. So what are the best games to play in co-op? Let's jump in and find out. Juan, what have you got for us first?
Thanks very much, James. Looking good there, buddy. How you doing, everybody? I'm looking forward to getting into this co-op list. Let's start with Sea of Thieves is a shared world adventure game that lets players decide the kind of pirate that they want to be. Do you want to follow maps and solve riddles to find legendary treasure, assemble the mightiest, most fearsome crew to sail the seas, set a course for the horizon and just explore? All of that is possible. There are many ways to earn gold and reputation. Up to 4 players can band together online to man a ship, and there's always an element of risk as this is one large open world. So danger is always a sail's length away. The visuals are absolutely breathtaking too. The game supports crossplay with Windows 10, Xbox Series consoles as well as Xbox One consoles and Steam. Plus there's cross-platform progression so you can pick up your plunder across your devices. In fact, this was one of the first games that James and I played on the Xbox Series X along with our friend Bruno, who has an Xbox One, as it's also available on Game Pass. The game is strictly about adventure and swag, so there's no leveling up or getting stronger items, so it's all about your personal skill level with your hard-earned loot being used purely for cosmetic items. Now that may be for some, but not for others, but we enjoyed it nevertheless.
A Way Out is the perfect game for this list. It's a co-op exclusive game where you and a buddy play as Leo and Vincent, 2 prisoners, as they make a daring escape. They forge an unlikely bond based around their mutual desire for freedom and a shared hatred, and what ensues is like a slick 1970s prison break film. The game is developed by Joseph Fares, who brought us Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, and before developing games, he directed movies, and it shows. The way the game uses cinematography is superb. But, and this is crucial, this is by no means a walking simulator. Gameplay is at the core of this experience. The game mixes things up. Rarely during the 6 or so hour runtime are you doing the same thing. You will need to work closely to succeed, making this the perfect game to play with a close friend or relative, perhaps even your children if they are not too young, given the adult theme and language. If you subscribe to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, then you have access to this as part of the Microsoft deal with EA, so get downloading.
Next up, it's Tetris Effect Connected, another Game Pass title, and although it's Tetris, this is Tetris like you've never seen it, heard it or felt it before, an incredibly addictive, unique and breathtakingly gorgeous reinvention of one of the most popular puzzle games of all time. Tetris Effect was in itself a glorious neon reimaging of the game, complete with superb visuals and audio, but this connected version that launched on the new Xbox consoles takes things up a notch by introducing a superb way to play together online or locally. 3 of you take an increasingly difficult CPU controlled bosses. Your playfields are literally connected. You start by playing on separate playfields, filling a shared connected meter whilst defending against the boss's blitz attacks that generally mess with your game plan, dropping massive blocks on you or flipping the screen, and once your meter is full, your playfield's coverage things change up and you need to work together to defeat the enemy by taking turns. There's no solo hero here. It sounds bonkers, and it is, but it's superb fun. A real gem that you'll be glad you've picked up.
The original Overcooked caught me by surprise with its super addictive real-time management gameplay where you need to divide kitchen tasks in order to serve up tasty treats to your clients. I played this with my girlfriend thoroughly, and the sequel even more. Now the games have been given a new lease of life for the next generation consoles, and if you never played either game, then you are in for a delightful morsel, as both have been served up in 4K glory at 60 frames per second with every DLC release thrown in, faster loading times, new chefs, new levels and trophies and achievements as well to reach towards. It's simple at first, but it gets complex very quickly, leading to some genuinely tense and hilarious moments. You can play locally with up to 4 players as well as online, and it's definitely at its best when playing with a friend.
Unravel 2 is a game I had a lot of fun with my daughter. A charming side-scrolling puzzle platformer game where you control two Yarnies, little characters made of thread, through a series of adventures. In the story, these characters are made from positive energy and are trying to assist two children on the run. The gameplay is clever as you need to use both Yarnies together to progress, making this an excellent choice for kids to work together and collaborate. The positive story and puzzle-solving nature of the game, set in a cute and wondrous world, make this an excellent choice for the whole family. And whilst you can play this solo, it's certainly better together as you need to support each other throughout, coordinate in order to progress, as well as using the nifty slowdown mechanic. This game is well placed, as well as being available to those with Game Pass Ultimate, and it does run and look wonderful on the Xbox Series consoles.
Following up, the popular Until Dawn supermassive games have taken a darker, more sinister tone this time around with Man of Medan. This is a playable survival horror flick that is a slow burner, ratcheting up the scares and creepiness on you as time goes on. It's playable solo, but where it shines is in one of the two co-op choices you have, but more on that in a second. The game unfolds as a cast of 5 divers are stranded on a World War II freighter. You switch between these characters, and depending on your decisions and approach, each can die or survive with multiple strands and lots of different endings to experience. Coming back to the co-op choices, the first is Movie Night mode, which is superb if you have a bunch of mates over. You each take a different character in pass and play, making your decisions that impact the rest of the cast, which leads to some hilariously selfish choices, sacrificing one of your buddies so you get out, or working together for the greater good. What's great is that you can either play the whole thing together or dip out and just see the portion of the story that you are playing depending on what you and your mates fancy. The other is Shared Story, an online co-op experience for 2 where you play the whole story together and live with the consequences you both make. If you fancy a twist on watching a film, something a bit more interactive, then get your friends round, grab the popcorn and enjoy.
All of these years later, the simple and satisfying beat-em-up action still works. Axel and Blaze are back and by their own admission are probably too old for this shizzle. That's where the young crew members, Cherry Hunter, daughter of Adam Hunter and Floyd, step in. Each of the characters have their own set of moves, complete with a star move that tears through enemies and a special move that takes a chunk out of your own health. The action is frantic and manages to balance bashing those buttons with chaining together calculated combos really well. When you unleash a special, you can recover that lost health if you follow it up with a well-executed combo, or catch throwable weapons for example too. The story is cheesy and thin, but who cares? We are here to bash through those enemies in front of us to the backdrop of banging tunes, and they're truly superb, as well as glorious visuals in a brilliant style. The level design is solid and includes some variation with a moving train for example, and all of this is a trip down memory lane that feels great and new at the same time. A nostalgia trip it certainly is. The whole game can be enjoyed with a friend online or locally with up to 4, and the game feels well balanced when doing so. It's almost certainly meant to be enjoyed with another. You share a combo meter, meaning you can unleash those epic skills more frequently, but can also be interrupted more easily. Grab a friend, some snacks, and get bashing. Plus, this is on Game Pass too.
Morkredd is a tense, physics-based co-op puzzle game that's best for 2 players, combining skill-based puzzle solving, a challenging balance of light and shadow, and a dark world full of secrets to unlock. The objective is to roll a bright orb through each stage, avoiding pitfalls and tricky obstacles, and to do that, we need to control both players at once, which is why this is perfect for couch co-op. The catch is that our protagonist must not get immersed in the shadows, the light preserves them. It's the perfect kind of short and enjoyable game to play on a miserable weekend. It's available with Game Pass Ultimate and is definitely worth checking out.
In the absence of Halo and upscaled Gears 5 optimised for the Xbox Series consoles that's available on Game Pass is likely a lot of people's go-to for shooting them up and slicing foes. The game's optimisation is superb as you would expect. It performs and looks brilliant. When it comes to co-op, we have a few choices. There is campaign co-op for up to 3 players. This works locally and also online. You can have 2 local players and a 3rd online, which is interesting. We also have escape for up to 3 online, where each player takes a different character, each with their own special ability. The goal here is to plant a bomb in a hive and then escape. And finally, the ever familiar horde mode. for up to 5 players online with the introduction of some new skills and locations. Now, I've always found this series to be best enjoyed locally as a campaign where you can play with a friend back to back and take on that story.
By now, Warzone likely doesn't need any introduction. This is Activision's take on the Battle Royale genre that released as a free-to-play part of Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which of course is itself a great co-op game. The main mode Battle Royale pits 150 players into a map that shrinks over time, with those that survive needing to gain cash in-game to buy equipment that makes them strong enough to take out their foes. Working on your team of 4 generally, although from time to time squads of 2 or 3 become an option. You need to cooperate closely to get success. Like all games of this type, it's punishing and unforgiving as players have honed their skills to truly deadly levels. The ability to respawn by winning in a 1v1 gulag match is welcome here, as it leads to a little bit less dead time if you are the first to go out in your squad. Along with Juan and a couple of mates, we got into the game's other mode, Plunder, in December, and it was our go-to co-op game for a while. The mode is all about getting cash and depositing it, with the first team to get to 1 million winning unless taken over and out at the last minute. What's nice here is that you can respawn any number of times, you just lose the resources that you have gathered. It's a bit slower and less frantic, lending itself well to working together and making a plan. The game is free to play with an optional subscription that allows you to get some additional cosmetics and level up quicker. It keeps the game from being pay to win, which is good. The game is also cross-platform play and progression as well, so you can sync up with your mates on other consoles. The Xbox Series X version is optimized with the ability to run in 4K and 120 frames per second, a feature not offered on the PS5, so this is the best way outside of high-end PCs to enjoy this game.
Now, Phogs is an interesting game. I tend to play quite a few of these co-ops because my daughter loves gaming. And as I said, like we played Minecraft Dungeons together just previously, Phogs is another game that we play together. And she's 6 years old. Here you get to play as 2-headed dog called Red and Blue. Very simple. And you get to set off in a puzzle-filled adventure. Now, you can play solo, but it is much, much better with a friend or family member. Now, there is a demo that you can try out, see if this is for you, but if you've got Game Pass, you can download this one and start playing that with a family member or friend now, and it's a rather good time, so give that one a go. I rather enjoyed it.
Over the last few years, Bungie have been steadily improving and adding to the shooter MMO Destiny 2. On the Xbox Series, the game looks fantastic and even runs at 120Hz in Crucible mode with cross-platform play. You can hook up with your mates as a group of up to 3 for campaign missions and groups of 6 in raids. It looks gorgeous in 4K. This is a great blast to play together, and of course, like most MMOs, it's free to play with optional in-game purchases, so you can try it out at no cost. In fact, this featured on our most improved games on the PS5 and Xbox Series console, so check that one out.
Now, if you like games like Diablo and dungeon crawling is your thing, then certainly Minecraft Dungeons is a good time. Sure, it's better for the younger generation. You can play this with younger family members. I played this with my 6-year-old daughter and we completed the game together. Now, you can play up to 4 players locally or online. And as I say, you can even play this solo and brave those dungeons alone. It's great because there's loads of loot. If you love finding loot, then there's even a difficulty slider scale for each of the levels when you enter. Make it more difficult for you and your friends, and you'll get better loot drops, making it easier later on when you take on some of the harder levels. And since the game dropped, there's been quite a few DLC drops for the game too. You've got Jungle Awakens, which kind of says what it is on the tin. There's new missions, you can battle new mobs, and you get to fight the mighty Jungle Abomination. And this DLC is included in the Hero Edition. You can also get Creeping Winter. This has Frostbitten Lands, where you need to be very brave to take on these new missions because it's very cold out there. There's also a season pass which will get you the next 4 chapters of the Minecraft Dungeon story, and this is available, as I say, to download as the season pass. So there's lots going on here. If you want a game that you can play with other people, then this is really a good shout and available on Game Pass, so give it a try.
And there you have it. These are our favourite co-op games. There's something for everyone here, whether you're playing locally or online as a 2 or bigger group, but there's certainly many more titles to enjoy in co-op. What is your favourite? Let us know below.
Speaking of favourites, James, which was your favourite from this list? I have to say that my favourite from the list was the one that you actually spoke about, which was A Way Out, which we tried the other day online on the Xbox Series X. And it was Game Pass, actually, that brought it to my attention because it was a game that I missed when it was released. And I really enjoyed playing it, and sort of we thought we'd give this one a go, and then 4 hours later we were still playing it. And I really enjoyed all of the sort of prison references. It reminded me a lot of Shawshank Redemption, which is a fantastic film. The series Prison Break, which, yeah, okay, turn your brain off for a little bit to watch that, but it's fantastic action in that. And while there's not a huge amount of gameplay, I just really enjoyed being part of the story with another person, which was you at the time. So that was my favourite out of this list. Let me know what yours is and the folks watching. Take care, everyone. See you next time.
Yeah, that's a great pick, and fun enough, it's also mine. A Way Out is just a bit different, and I love playing it with you together online. It's like watching a movie with a mate where you interact with the tale. Alright, thanks for stopping by, everyone. We hope you've enjoyed this list. If you own a Switch, then check out our best co-op games on the Switch list over at Switchwatch, and we'll see you on the next one. Until then, take care.